My name is Grace Kemp, and this brief talk is entitled Things That Will Happen Before the Tribulation. This is based on a careful reading of Daniel chapter 9 and Revelation 11 verses 1 and 2. And because of time being so short, all I'm going to do is just fly through these things that will happen. I haven't got time to explain. Each one is a long story by itself. There will be a 10-nation European sponsored confederacy in place. These things, as I said, are before the rapture of the church, before the tribulation starts. These 10-nation confederacy could be the European Union. It could more likely be the Western European Union, which has 10 powerful nations. It could be the upcoming Mediterranean Union, which hasn't formed yet, but there's a lot of talk about it. It'll be the revived Roman Empire. The Mediterranean Union actually includes more nations that were in the original revived Roman Empire than the other ones do. A man from an 11th nation, a small nation of Europe, likely not a member of the European Union, will rise to the fore and be part of this confederacy. He will ultimately be called the Beast. He will be the rising dictator who's predominant in the tribulation period. There will be an effort to unite various world religions into one super church or religion under one central authority. It seems in the first half of the tribulation there's a dominating one world church who actually controls the rising dictator. The religious hierarchy will have control over the political hierarchy until the midpoint. There's likely to be a falling away in the evangelical Christian groups. Sound doctrine is likely to be replaced as we approach the end times by other common causes such as the environment or world hunger or helping the underprivileged or eradication of disease, social issues. I think we're seeing that today. I think it says there will be people that will go to churches just to hear a popular, politically correct message rather than the truth that is presented in the Word of God. There will be an enormous emigration of Jews to Israel. Since 1948, their population at that time, I believe, was 80,000. Today, the population is 7 million. But this will increase as Jews flock to Israel, making Aliyah as we approach the end times. A powerful Jewish Messiah with a small m will rise in Israel, and he will be a direct descendant of King David. There's a great deal of research now being done establishing the genealogies of those who claim to be descendants of King David. And he will in fact be the Antichrist. The Antichrist is not the dictator of Europe. He is Antichrist. He is Jewish. He's the false prophet. He's the second beast. He's the beast out of the earth. He will be the actual Antichrist. And he will be a strong politician as well as strong religious leader, and he will negotiate a deal with the rising beast of Europe. The city of Jerusalem will be placed under the sovereignty of the, quote, nations. That's in Revelation 11, 1 and 2. Now that could be the United Nations, the European Union, the Western European Union, the Mediterranean Union, but it will be a group, nations. It'll be a plural group of nations that is going to be given the sovereignty of Jerusalem. Now I'm trying to fill in the gap here. We know from Revelation that the third Jewish temple will be built on the Temple Mount. It's right in the Bible. It will be built. And I am thinking that the Jews will forfeit the sovereignty of Jerusalem in exchange for whoever receives the sovereignty of Jerusalem, that group promising to allow them to build the third temple and to protect them in so doing. And I'm guessing that it'll be built on the north side of the Temple Mount, north of the present Dome of the Rock. It says they will have their temple, but they will not own any of the property it sits on, at least except what it sits on, but they won't own the Temple Mount. They will have just the temple. and they will not be in control of the Temple Mount nor the city. But you see, the Orthodox Jews believe that once they establish the Temple Mount, that will bring in the millennium. They don't seem to see the tribulation. And so the rising Messiah of Israel, he will be the leader of all of this in establishing the temple. He will sign a 7-year contract with the dictator of Europe. And of course it holds for 3.5 years. And when the temple is up, the Jews will demand or request animal sacrifices. They will want that immediately. And the covenant that will be signed will, after the temple is up, will protect Israel in order to establish the animal sacrifices. When that is signed, that is the day of the rapture. That is because the clock starts ticking at that point on the 2,520-day tribulation. That is the mile marker for the rapture of the church. We're out of here the day that covenant is signed. Are we seeing these things today? Yes. Could I name some names? Yes. I imagine that the New Jewish Council, which is an Orthodox group of Jews, primarily Orthodox, will be very involved in the establishment of the temple. That's their heart's desire. It will happen, but unfortunately it heralds the tribulation. And eventually the beast will be put down and Christ will return in power and great glory. Are you ready for the rapture? God be with you and bless you.